Blessed Carlo Acutis was an Italian Catholic youth who will soon be canonized saint. And typical of young people today, he was a website designer, best known for documenting Eucharistic miracles around the world. And I'm just going to mention a number of Eucharistic miracles among the many that he has listed. In Argentina, there was a bleeding host, consecrated host. In Austria, wine turned into blood overflows the chalice because the priest was doubting the miracle. In Belgium, a host that was stolen starts bleeding. In Colombia, a whole island was saved by the power of the Blessed Sacrament. And in Croatia, wine turned into blood. In Egypt, the infant Jesus was seen in the place of bread. In France, Jesus appears in the host, and the child appears after a host is dropped on the ground. Fire destroys the altar, but not the host. All this in France. The host cures a paralyzed boy. A host survives the fire, and so on and so forth. So many miracles. But do these miracles tell us what the Eucharist is? Do they prove to us the presence of Jesus in the bread that we bless and pray over? Does our faith in the Eucharist depend on believing in the magical power of what happens to the bread after consecration? Well, who am I to answer these questions? Today we are celebrating the mystery of the Eucharist. The word itself is in Greek and means thanksgiving, saying thank you. So the Eucharist is first and foremost an expression of gratitude, saying thank you for the presence of God's love for us humans through Jesus. The Eucharist is therefore first and foremost a gift. But what gives meaning to the gift? Well, I go back to my childhood, if you allow me. My dad was too poor to buy us a toy truck. So he actually built it himself for us using the scrap wood he found around. As little children, we were absolutely enchanted by this magical truck. We'd be overjoyed, but boys will be boys. It did not take us long to want to take our playing a bit further. We wanted to explore how the truck worked. The steering wheel, the little cabin door, the crane, the tiny pulleys on the back of the truck. But as they say, curiosity killed the cat. In our case, curiosity killed the truck. We ended up dismantling it in pieces, but unable to put the pieces back together again. That truck was soon doomed to the scrap heap of broken toys, to the frustration of our poor dad. The same goes with life. It's not by dissecting or by dismantling life that we can understand life. It is only by accepting and living its mystery that life becomes livable and meaningful. No, life is not only a miracle, it is above all a mystery. What's important is not what ingredients make up the soup. What's more important is that it is Mum who cooked it. That's what made the soup delicious and meaningful. It's not the mechanism of our toy truck that made it so precious for us. What was more important was that it was our dad who made it for us. The Holy Eucharist is not a miracle to be explained. It is a mystery to be received as a gift. Like with every other gift, it's not the bread and wine that we receive that counts most. It is the one who gives himself to us through the bread and wine that gives meaning to our lives. The Eucharist is the source of our life because it is the gift of love from the one who is love itself. What matters is not the mechanism of the toy truck. What matters is the love with which our dad used to work to make that truck for us. So let us receive the Eucharist with an open, a grateful, childlike heart, instead of relying on big words that struggle to express or to explain the mystery. Like little children, let us live each and every Mass, each and every communion with an open, childlike heart. We don't need to discover how the truck works to appreciate the love that my dad put in building it up for us. We do not need to discover or understand how God comes to us in such a simple way, the Eucharist. All we need to do is to open our hearts and souls to welcome the mystery. Jesus sharing his loving presence, transforming himself and us into real food, real drink that keeps us and our brothers and sisters fully alive. This is what transforms bread, wine together with all that we are, all that we do, into a real, a loving communion with one another and in and with Jesus. Going back to Blessed Carlo Acuta's list of Eucharistic miracles, let us believe that what really counts is not whether the Blessed Host bleeds real blood or whether priests end up with a little baby Jesus in their hands when lifting up the host. These may be useful, meaningful experiences. But what matters and what really counts is that, like Jesus and with Jesus, we shed our own blood. We become ourselves real food for those who are dying of pain, hunger, hate, loneliness, misery. This is the Holy Eucharist. It is not just the transformation of the bread and the wine, but it is the transformation of our hearts to become the bread, the drink that our brothers and sisters are so thirsty for. This is Christ's dream come true through you and through me. This is the Holy Eucharist. It's not something we achieve, it is something we receive. And that's why we call it Eucharist. Because being in communion with our brothers, our sisters in Jesus is indeed the supreme gift for which we have been created. God bless you and thank you.